Fear is only in the moment, and it's only when we don't take action. I think it's a big topic. Fear.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of fear?
any fear. What are you fearful of?
Am I fearful of?
Yeah,
I don't really want to say it out loud on camera.
that's all good. You know,
I got fear of losing certain family members.
Okay.
One of them.
and then what happens with fear if it festers? Right? If you constantly live in fear, like what does it do to like today or in the moment or opportunities?
Yeah, it takes you out of the moment, and it can manifest itself faster
Exactly. Yeah.
if you give it more energy.
Yeah. So, let's see, I've been out now almost 14 years. 14 years. And one would say that you can be an expert, in maybe 5 to 10 years, depending on how many hours you have under your belt. Most recently, I did another podcast in Roseville, just on the spot, and it's going to come out here in a minute. He posed a question to me, what was it that made me transform while I was still in prison? Nobody's ever posed that question to me. I've talked about like transforming, it was extremely hard, but he actually posed the question to me. And I'm trying to go back to the time when I was in prison and what I was afraid of. There was moments in there that I was very, very afraid. Like I was afraid of getting stabbed. I was afraid of getting thrown off the tier. I was afraid of getting shot and murdered. So like these were all legitimate fears. There's no confusion about like what this fear was. These were like real life fears that I had, and rightfully so because I was in prison. And then I overcame those fears merely just through acting, through doing, through stepping through it, through just getting through it day to day. If I didn't want to die, I probably had to do things first. If I wanted to survive, I'm going to have to do things that's going to keep me alive. I don't really find a lot of that out here. Like when I talk to people.
Yeah. What do you mean, like legitimate fears? Or transformation?
Transformations and legitimate fears, like when I talk to somebody or want to help somebody, and whether if it's weight loss or if it's they want to do a bodybuilding show or they want to get out of a relationship that they're just in a rut in. Sometimes we let fear traumatize like the ability for us to actually act and move. I don't think we have enough experience gravitating with real fear and actually overcoming it and then coming on top and then transforming from it. And a lot of people ain't gonna like this, but I don't know if there's that many strong people nowadays, like honestly. Like we got participation trophies, we got kids out here that are just afraid to walk from point A to point B. We're so sheltered. We're constantly keeping our kids and people in this like very, very sheltered, everything is going to be okay, you can't say anything, you can't offend anybody. I remember when I was growing up, you say whatever it was on your mind and you may get your ass beat. But nowadays we can't really say anything, we're fearful. You can't do that either, right? So we're fearful of everything and we're literally crippled. Because I told my story to this person. I don't want to say who it is before he actually releases it, but I told my story and I kind of relived all of the stuff that I've done since being out here. And I didn't have any fear.
While you were locked up?
No, I didn't have any fear out here. I had no fear. There was no real fear for me out here. Because the moment that I got released from prison, I went through all of my fears and I lived all of my fears and I overcame all of my fears. And out here, when I got out, it was nothing but joy. And then I stopped and thought about it, like, how can somebody overcome a fear out here if they've never actually experienced real fear and then went through it instead of it crippling them and not actually going through it? How powerful is that? to actually live in fear day in and day out, and then overcome it through action. And then out here, you see the world as an opportunity. And nowadays, when I talk to people, whether it's new trainers or just people that I'm trying to coach, they're living in fear. They're fearful either of success, they're fearful of applying all of the things that they should be applying, and it confuses me and I can't relate to it. And I realized that today, that I just can't relate to it, because I'm thinking to myself, if you want to do something and somebody gave you a roadmap on how to do it, why wouldn't you just do it? You're afraid. You're afraid of taking action, and it's crippling you, so therefore you're just going to continue on doing the things that are comfortable. Like, I didn't really have anybody to come and rescue me. Nobody rescued me in prison. I had to figure all this stuff out on my own. And then when I got out, nobody really rescued me, because I had to do all these things. And everything was against me. You know, parole was against me. The ankle monitor was against me. And I still didn't let any of those things stop me from doing what I really wanted to do. Like, I had to present to my parole agent that I wanted to create this cleaning business that probably sounded absurd. And I did it because I didn't have any fear. I didn't have any hesitation or fear of what they thought of me. And I did it, and it worked. And nowadays, we have so much hesitation and fear of trying to present something to somebody or asking somebody for revenue, for exchanging a service, just merely out of fear, and I don't understand it. You're afraid to talk to your partner or be honest with your partner or vulnerable out of fear. It confuses me, and a lot of the things are fear-based. So you mean it's
talking to young people about this?
Yeah, young people and old people, and clients and friends. And I'm just noticing.
They're scared to ask for revenue in exchange for services.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To pay for their product.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when I was younger, definitely that took me a while. You just gotta believe in your product, you know what I mean? Sometimes it helps to ask for more even when you're uncomfortable, to actually just raise your rate a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, so case in point, so confidence, like you can look at somebody and then you look at them and they look good, they have a lot of money, they're successful, and they can still be very, very insecure in many, many different areas of their life. Same thing when you're trying to start a business, same thing when you're trying to be a trainer, same thing when you're starting a new position, same thing within your relationship. Like, it's still fear-based. So how do we get out of this fear-based mentality that we're breeding? Because we are breeding it with all of the, you can't do this, you got to be careful when you say this. Like, we're literally breeding fear. Well, we shouldn't be breeding fear. We should be breeding to congratulate. We should be breeding more opportunity base. We should be encouraging people to be afraid and to learn, fall, and try to get back up on your own.
I think not searching for instant gratification helps. Through social media.
You got it right. I think you put them in
Slowly,
yeah.
you're your own worst critic and trying to search for people's approvals. Like, just get it. Like, you gotta just say fuck it and go for it, whatever you want.
I mean,
slowly learn along the way.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, social media ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter.
You could use it to your advantage though, without constantly looking for, you know.
You could, but that takes
you can look at it without wanting instant gratification from it.
You could, and that's going to be the same percentage rate as the people that go to prison and come out and actually figure out that maybe I shouldn't be using this tool in this manner because it's not helping me. Maybe I should use it in a different manner. That's going to be.
We're going to let that double-edged sword sat them.
Yeah. So I mean, we use YouTube as a platform, right? So social media is good. It's beneficial, but we don't really use it for instant gratification. Like, my main focus has been to help and to inspire and to encourage.
What's one thing you can tell somebody right now to be a little less fear-based?
To be less fear, you got to take action.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple, you have to take action. And I'll give you an example. Fear is only in the moment, and it's only when we don't take action. I remember one of the first times that I had to get into a fight. I was afraid. Like, I had butterflies on my stomach, my hands were all clammy. Those are physiological effects of fear. And then the moment we started fighting, fear went away. I remember the first time I had to approach a woman, and I was still young, but I had to approach her to build up the courage to go and talk to her. I was afraid. clammy hands, butterflies in my stomach. I stumbled with my words. But the moment that we started talking, there was no more fear. Riots in prison. Leading up to it, the anticipation, like it's the same thing. It's physiological. But I've learned through fear that no matter what, you just have to act. And whether that's going after a female that you're not comfortable with, or maybe you feel like she's out of your league, or a job, or asking somebody for exchanging money for time, you just have to ask. People are just so fearful of everything. They're fearful of the president. The president's not going to help them. The governor's not going to help them. The mayor's not going to help them. This new politician isn't going to help me. These new meds that are coming out, I constantly.
You gotta help yourself. They're not. You can't. Your governor's not going to fix your life for you.
You're going to fix it.
Yeah.
So if you just take action and have a plan and know that this plan is sound and just follow that plan to a T with no deviation, and I know that's hard because distractions are everywhere. You got friends, social media, events, school, boyfriend, girlfriend, new TV shows. Those are all distractions. If you can just follow this plan that you have to a T, whether if it's gaining revenue or gaining popularity in whatever field you want to, become a better pitcher, a better football player, a pro bodybuilder, or competing. If you can go from the end in mind and work your way backwards, have a plan, follow it, you will actually accomplish it. 100%. Not, I did it about 50%. Fear is just crippling people, and I'm having a really hard time trying to understand how, when they're not happy in the position and the place that they're in. So if you're in a position, a place that you're not happy with, fear is going to keep you in that position. You have to figure out a way to get out. Ask somebody for help, look at somebody that's in the position that you want to be in, and trust that they're there to help you, bottom line. But you can't keep being fearful, and you can't keep saying, I don't have the confidence. You just have to do it. There's things and steps that you can take that will no longer make you fearful. Repetitions is one of them. You're fearful of getting into a fight, you got to get into a shit ton of fights. You're fearful of getting shot, and you may have to put yourself in a position where you're actually having to duck from a bullet. And then the more times you do it, guess what? It's not as fearful because you're familiar with it. It's the unknown. You just got to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to act, and you can't live your life that is going to be fear-based. It's going to take away from your mental clarity. It's going to take away from today. It's going to take away from your opportunities. And most importantly, it's just going to take away from your life. Fear sucks. And believe me, I've had a lot of fear in my life. I used to fear my dad, but it taught me a lot. And I used the fear and rock bottom to transport me to champagne and that's not really caviar.
Champagne and chocolate.
I mean, sometimes I walk around and, I look and, we always talk about attitude or gratitude. And I'm like, well, okay, but these are things that I see all the time. So then we become numb to it. But I'm fortunate to be able to do these things, to hang out with you, to, hey, you want to go hang out and have sushi and you want to do a little bit of filming? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But guess what? All this shit costs money. All of it. This ain't free. Nobody's taking me out. And I'm grateful to be able to do that. But I wouldn't do none of this, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this, even like verbally communicating this on YouTube, if I was fearful or if I lived in fear. Oh my God, what are they going to say? Are they going to like me? Are they not going to like me? It's not a matter of if you're liked or not liked. It's a matter of the information that you're putting out there. Is it real, and can it help somebody? How many people are living in fear? A lot, probably more than not. It doesn't matter how much money you make, if you're in El Dorado or Folsom or in Oak Park or in Meadowview or in CB Circle. It doesn't really matter where you're at. People are still constantly living in fear. But the ones that overcome it are the ones that actually take some type of action. Not the ones that sit back and complain and then everything else that's attached to fear. Bottom line, take action in the direction that you want to head in, not in the direction of fear.
From that field to the spot, now we living. Still running their mouth, they gon' die about the minutes. They bitches, and most of them not from the trench. Come to my block, come and see how we living. We chillin' with Glocks, and they all got extensions. Moved to the north, cause I seen they was winning. Go ask about it, gotta